Conversations are a funny thing. I don't know if you've ever had that conversation where you walk away saying, I just spent 20 minutes with that person and I have no clue what they said. That happens a lot in my house with my wife. I think the phrase smile and nod is a common phrase in our house because my wife just says, I know you're talking and I know you're saying something, but what tangent are you on? And we've all had that time where we're in a conversation and it's just not going the way we think it's going to go. Something's crazy, or even worse, the other person just kind of stares at you, and you're like, am I still connecting with you? And then there's conversations today. We have those conversations where the other person, and this is probably what I do more than anything, the other person is playing Clash of Clans or something on their phone. They're angry birding it up, and you're sitting there saying, hello, are we communicating? So conversations are a funny thing, and there's no true perfect one way to have a conversation with somebody. I've got a couple of things I would like to share with you that may help when you're in a different type of situation or a different type of conversation, especially when it's a conversation that's as important as moving someone towards a saving knowledge of Christ. Here are some things that could help you in that process. Number one, don't just repeat yourself. I have said the same thing 10 different ways before, but just repeated and repeated and repeated and just said the same thing over and over and over. And I've been frustrated that someone doesn't get it. A good example would be my 3-year-old. She's 3 years old and she's not going to get everything. There have been times where I've said something and she's just kind of stared at me. And I've said it again and she just kind of stared at me. And she's just not understanding what I'm saying. And sometimes it can be frustrating. You can be like, why don't you understand that you need to grab that thing right there that you're looking at? Your hand is on it. I'm saying your hand is on it, and do something with that one thing. And she just, especially when she's cleaning up toys, she doesn't want to clean up toys. So she's not going to fully understand that I want her to pick that toy up and put it back in the box. So there are times where we just find ourselves repeating and repeating, and we're not getting anywhere. And we just need to chill, take a minute, take a breath, and we may need to move the conversation a completely different direction. And that's okay too. So don't just repeat yourself, number one. Number two, and this is huge, let the other person respond. Oh my goodness, I have been in so many conversations where the person talking just keeps going and going and going and talking, and they love to hear themselves talk, and then I have to apologize because I'm that person in the conversation. We need to just stop sometimes and let someone else respond. If you want to know how well you're doing as a communicator, how well you're doing in a conversation, or if you're even being understood in a conversation, stop and let the other person respond to you. Maybe even ask a couple of questions that will get them to respond. Because if you're one of those people that talks all the time, people may not respond to you because they don't think you ever want them to. So take a couple minutes, let the other person respond, and hear what's going on in their mind and what's going on in their thoughts. That will help you really move a conversation that's going nowhere forward. A third thing we could do is just to listen. And that's crucial. There are a lot of times where you let someone else respond, but the whole time you're thinking about what you're going to say next to really just kind of prove your point, or to get through God's love with this one amazing tweetable moment or quote. But if you just take time to listen, just listen to what the person's saying, you'll learn more in those few moments than they'll learn by your tweetable quote that has nothing to do with what they were even saying. Give them that time to respond and then listen to them. Another thing that a lot of us are afraid of sometimes is silence. And so that's why number 4 is just stay silent. There are times where you've said something and you've repeated, you've given them opportunity to respond, and you're listening real hard, but nothing's being said. So we get nervous and we get, all crazy, and we got to say something to break up the silence, like my friend Chip. But there are some times where you just stop and listen and wait and be silent. And in that silence, there can be things that you have said that are digging so deep down in that person that emotionally they're just gathering themselves to say something. Or because they were playing Bionicle on their phone, they're trying to figure out what in the world you even said, and they're processing to give you a response. I mean, there are many reasons, but if we get afraid of that silence, there are things that that person has inside of them that may not ever come out, and we may not ever understand where they are at and have a better ability to help them or serve them or teach them about the Lord than if we would just stay silent for a minute. And lastly, this is the most important. Pray. Because it doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter how many times we say it. All those things don't really matter because we can't change anybody's heart. But God can. And if we would just pray and cover those conversations before, during, and after in prayer, then God will take the seeds that were planted. And it may not even happen in the time that you know somebody. It may happen years later. But God will take those moments and he will do something amazing in that person's life. I have a friend who contacted me on Facebook years later. And he said, Jason, I saw you post about this. And this is a conversation we had in high school. He said, I don't always agree with you. I didn't always agree with you then. But you know, your relationship with God in high school and the fact that it's the same today, the fact that you still love him, that really is impacting me. I'm noticing that, and there's something different, and there's something cool, and I've got a relationship with God today, and it's not where yours is. It's not what yours is, but it's something, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I went to high school a long time before Facebook even existed. So for that to happen 15, 20 years later is pretty amazing. That means prayer can really impact someone long after our words are gone. So just remember that God will change their heart. God will move in them, even when we don't have a voice in their lives anymore. While we have a voice, plant seeds, but let God change their hearts.